one thing about the Savannah police when it comes to finding missing people, they usually find missing people or runaway people fast, usually within less than a week or even 2 days. I mean, I must give them credit. They do a good job when it comes to finding people. Sometimes other cases take longer than others, and when that happens, you can bet there's foul play involved. So the Savannah Police Department says that they have located a car connected to a man who has been missing since August the 11th. Now, Diontae Roberson was last seen in Tatumville. Police were searching for Mercury Grand Marquis. They believe Roberson could be traveling in. Police say they found that car in Savannah after receiving a tip. Detectives continue to seek information on the whereabouts of Diontae Roberson. And to be honest, this case sounds familiar, like the case that I covered about Jamison Lemons. And shout out to the brother. I believe if it wasn't the brother, if it was the cousin, I talked to them, I believe a few months after I did that video. And I got them on the phone, and they was like, "Hey, Pac-Man, listen, I know you do the news and you cover what's going on in the media, but honestly, the media has it wrong. We never really actually found his body, and the remains that they talk about that they found, that the police found, they only found like his hand, like a piece of his hand, whether it was his whole hand or like a piece of his hand. I couldn't really remember, but it was like, yeah, even though it's reported that they found human remains, they only found his hand of Jamison Lemons, and I covered that story. I'll put that link in the description box below. That was a really gruesome story that happened years back. And, it also reminds me of Donald Jones, teenager that went missing in mid-September of 2020, 2 years ago, and found him in a wooded area off of Oriole Drive. And, they still haven't found his killer. And it also reminds me of that rapper that was killed by the name of Slim Tut, or Charles Vincent, that he was reported missing in April the 27th in 2021. And he was found that coming Sunday off of the Geechee Town neighborhood, I believe, kind of near the woods, towards a creek almost. And the main culprits was his associates, people that he knew. I don't know who's working the case for Mr. Roberson, but if I was the detective, I would start off questioning his so-called friends and put the hammer down, because I bet my fucking bottom dollar that someone he knew is the cause of his disappearance. The mistake most people make, not saying that everyone does this that end up coming missing, not saying this was the case for Roberson, but the mistake that people make of talking about money, or not even just money, just something that's valuable, that's being discussed out loud, and that can attract the wrong type of energy. And it doesn't matter if you went to school with this person since the 3rd grade. It don't matter if the person that set you up was a family friend. Don't matter if that was your neighbor for several years. When somebody knows that you have access to a lot of cash or something valuable, it's only a matter of time before the setup comes, And then the guys do it in Savannah real slimy and dirty, bro. I would never talk about anything that's valuable out loud, even when it comes to friends. I wouldn't put myself in that situation like that, because you can tell your friends, your so-called friends, and they can tell some of their buddies that you don't know and get you lined up and get you up out of here, because guys will set you up to rob you and kill you, just for a little piece of change. And I honestly think that they're being set up in a way that maybe they're just being told to just come along, or let's meet up, and they just hop in the car, and something happens and somebody pulls out a weapon, and unfortunately the worst happens. I don't think that these guys are just strong arm into going to these places and getting murdered, like the situations or the people that I talked about earlier in this video. I don't think, for the most part, these guys aren't the type of guys that just give up on their life. I think they would really fight back when it came down to it. So I really do think that they're being set up or being misled by the people that they think that is their close friends or close associates, and he ended up getting set up like that. I really hope they figure out what happened to Mr. Roberson. I really do. because his family needs the closure.